Hey, what's up guys, how you all doing? I'm Paul the Tech Giant and welcome back to the channel, where today I'm going to be testing out two TVs. And these are two TVs that you guys have been dying for me to compare when it comes to the picture quality and brightness. And those two TVs are the 65-inch LG C4 OLED and the 65-inch LG C3 OLED. Now these videos are always very difficult to shoot and get across to you guys what the differences are between the two TVs when it comes to the image. But I'm going to do my very best to show you the difference, but also I'm going to be telling you what I am seeing. I've got my son going to be sitting in as well. He's going to give his opinion because, like I said, it doesn't always come across so great on camera what the differences are. So with me and my son telling you, hopefully it'll give you a good idea what those differences are when it comes to the picture quality and brightness. Okie dokie then, so as you can see I have the TVs top and bottom. Unfortunately couldn't get them side by side, so this is the best that I could do. Yeah, we have the C4 at the top and the C3 at the bottom. So this is the 2024 model and this is the 2023 model. Now the footage that we're looking at is my own 4K HDR footage, and I set up the TVs to look as close as possible against one another. And, well, initial thoughts on this. Well, I gotta say, I can't see a massive difference because the C4 at the top is meant to be a bit brighter. And on this scene, well, I can't really tell, can you, mate? It is very hard to see the difference. Now, what I am noticing is if you look just there on the building, it does look a bit more pinky on the bottom and on that building there. I'd say on the C4, the whites do look that bit whiter. Again, we can just see that just there as the camera pans round. Yeah, you can see that pinkiness come through. So I'd say, looking at the moment, that the colour science or accuracy, if you want to look at it like that, does look somewhat better on the C4. But yeah, the brightness levels, yeah, it's very, very close. Maybe the brightness slightly better on the C4 on the top there. Looking at the difference in the wood colour as well. So looking a little bit more darker on that wood on the C4 at the top. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to also just move between the two, like so. Yeah, so this is looking a bit more sort of washed out maybe, a bit more bluish in tones. But also we've got that pink once again there on the whites on the wall. But yeah, that's quite a good difference there again on that wood. But brightness again, yeah, not really seeing it. I mean, it is minimal, fraction brighter I'd say on the top. Again, I would say the blues on the bottom are more bluer when it comes to the sky and a bit more turquoisey up the top, as we can see there. Yeah, a bit more darker blue there and a bit lighter on the C4. Now we've got another scene just here and we can see the grass. Again, slight colour difference. I'd say it's darker on the bottom, bit brighter at the top there and more yellowy. So let's just go in a little bit closer and take a look at the two there. And again, sky looking slightly more washed out on the C4 or lighter and slightly darker on the C3. Moving over to another piece of footage now then. And again, we can see some slight differences here. So again, grass looking slightly different on the bottom than on the C4 at the top. Again, just going to go between the two. And again, I'm not really seeing a lot of brightness difference here. If I just move around a little bit. Again, maybe a fraction brighter on the C4 over the C3, but I've got to be totally honest with you. If I didn't have these TVs side by side and I just had one delivered to me at a different time over the other, it doesn't just jump out at me. It isn't that obvious. which is a shame. And that's what a lot of people are looking for, let's be honest. You know, you want to replace maybe your C3 with the C4. Unless you run them side by side, I don't think you're going to sit down and be massively blown away. But don't get me wrong, the C3 was already what I consider, you know, a decently bright OLED. Now, just looking through this tunnel here, again, slight differences there in the tones on the concrete as well, just there. Looking this time round, a bit more pinky up the top, but to be fair, that's more of what it was like when I've seen it in person. So again, I would say the C4 is more accurate when it comes to the colours there over the C3 at the bottom, which you can see on this scene looks a little bit more bluer tones to that flooring. If I just move around a bit to see if there's any differences when we move round to the sides. Again, fraction brighter maybe on the C4 there. Yeah, just a little bit. So yeah, I will give it that on this scene, like on this woman's top just there then. That did look a little bit brighter on the C4. On the sign there as well was looking a bit brighter and going up these stairs. But again, not a massive difference what people are going to want to expect, especially if they are upgrading their TV from the older model. Right, so what I've just done, I've just paused the two pieces of footage. Got a still of my missus there, she's got a nice bright top on, and just going to ask my son at the moment, what do you think looks the brightest out of the two there?
Probably the top one.
Yeah, I'd agree on that. It's only a fraction, it's not massive, would you say that? Yeah. Again, if I just go between the two, which is hard. Again, slightly different tones. It's more yellowy on the bottom and a bit more sort of leaning towards more green up the top, I'd say. But again, it's only a fraction. Again, with the carpet there, looks slightly brighter than the bottom. Maybe the bottom one looks a little bit more sort of washed out as opposed to the top. But would you then say, is it a massive difference? You know, if you were paying, you know, a few £100 more for the top TV over the bottom, would you say that's worth it, mate?
No.
No, so even my son agrees there. He doesn't think that it would be worth paying the extra money for. We're now moving on to a bit of darker footage. So we have some light areas in this footage against the dark. So we may see some extra pop on that C4. Again, got my missus there with a bright top on coming into shot. What would you say on that one, mate? You noticing really a lot of difference?
No.
Nah, it's not a lot, is it? It is only very minor. Again, slightly brighter up the top on that scene. Again, red's maybe a fraction better, but not a whole lot of difference. So coming into a different room here. Again, colour tones are more in favour of the top there on the C4, but not a massive difference. Now I've just paused this video on a bit of writing. As you can see, it's nice and bright against a black background. And what's your thoughts on that, mate?
I think the top one's a bit brighter than the bottom.
Yeah, now on this scene, I would say I am noticing a difference. It's, yeah, definitely standing out more on the C4 up the top there. Again, don't know how well that is coming across, but on this scene, yes, I am noticing a difference. Is it massive? No, I wouldn't say massive, but it is more of a difference than we've seen on the other scenes. So yeah, you know, when you've got some small bright areas on a black background, you may notice some improvement, but again, I wouldn't say it's absolutely massive. Moving on to the final scene, and once again, fraction brighter up the top, but you know, not a great deal. So let's just go between the two one more time. Again, I'd say those sort of yellows that we just seen there a minute ago did look better on the C4 over the C3. but unless you got them side by side, you probably wouldn't notice the difference. Again, with this, reds I'd say look better on the C4, more accurate to what they were in person. Slightly different shading on the floor as well, looks more orangey, which again is more true to life, and a bit more washed out on the C3 on the bottom there. So there you go then, guys. I am quite surprised that the difference wasn't bigger than what I was expecting. A little bit disappointed there with that C4. Don't get me wrong, it is an amazing TV and I wouldn't hesitate to buy it. But the difference between the C3 and C4 when it comes to the picture quality and the brightness there, well, I've got to say it, it's not massive. Slightly leaning more towards the C4 when it comes to the colour accuracy there. But for the average person, I don't think you're really going to notice a difference. But what you would notice is the extra few quid in your bank account if you went for the C3, because obviously that's the outgoer model. So if you could get your hands on one of them, personally, unless you've got really deep pockets, I'd say go for the C3. Save yourself that money. You're really going to notice that. Maybe invest in a sound bar or something like that. Don't get me wrong, the C4 is definitely better when it comes to the sound. So maybe go for the C3. Put the money towards a sound bar, probably still have a few quid in your pocket, and then you're going to have a far superior sound experience, which overall, I think then the C3 would beat the C4. So there you go then, guys. Now please do me a favour, seeing that I've helped you out and hopefully maybe saved you a few quid, and just reach up and hit that thumbs up button. Doesn't cost you a penny, but really does help the channel out. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, then please make sure you subscribe. So thanks very much for joining me today, and hopefully I'll catch you guys on next one. Bye for now.